Hello, this is Clean Coach Carly. I'm the staff nutritionist for Healthy Habits Living, and I'm talking about yeasty beasties, okay, Candida. This is always a hot topic when we have chronic and complex symptoms. Now, Candida is a type of yeast or fungus, and we have different types of yeast and fungus in our bodies, and that kind of helps us to stay in homeostasis. So it's not necessarily a bad thing to have yeast in your body, but it is a bad thing to have an overgrowth of yeast in your body. And that's what we usually call candidiasis or a candida infection or candida overgrowth. And usually that yeast is Candida albicans. Now there's lots of different candidas, but generally the one that overgrows and causes us symptoms is Candida albicans. Now, Candida is often an opportunistic infection, which means something else is making your immune system weak, and so the Candida has the opportunity to overgrow. So it's really best to keep that in mind when you are dealing with a Candida infection and you're trying to get rid of it. Because you need to keep in mind that behind that Candida infection is maybe something else that is causing you immune problems. Now, that's not to say that you should ignore the Candida and figure out what is causing your immune problems, because that can be complex and time consuming. And it's difficult to live with the symptoms of Candida. So the symptoms can be just about anything, but the ones that really stick out to me are the white, filmy, thrushy, yeasty stuff on your tongue or in your mouth. Also, the one that sticks out to me is brain fog or thick saliva, like thick gooey saliva, because there's a bunch of yeast in it. Pain, like inflammation in your joints, can also sometimes be caused by Candida overgrowth. And then, of course, we have, if you're a woman, you have the Candida microbiome issue in the vagina or on the vulva. So what do we do? Now, we want to get rid of it or at least balance it out. And that's really what all treatments are for, is really balancing it, because you're never going to completely get rid of all the yeast in your entire body. You wouldn't want to do that. So Global Health Trax has 3 different products, and I'm going to tell you what's in them and what I recommend them for. Okay, so first is their first product was ThreeLac. And as the name sounds, it has 3 strains of probiotics. Now, what makes this different than the probiotics you can go buy at the grocery store? Well, these 3 strains are known to help balance out yeast in your microbiome. They can work locally in your mouth. So you could like swish it around in your mouth if you have like an overgrowth of yeast there, like a white film. But they also work in your small intestines and in your large intestines. Now, some of the probiotics that you buy at the grocery store, they're not even going to make it past your stomach acid because they're either not strong enough strains or they're not in an enteric coated system that will allow them to get past your stomach acid. So they're just going to be destroyed in your tummy. Okay, so Bacillus coagulans, Bacillus subtilis, and Enterococcus faecalis are in GHT's ThreeLac. So I recommend this one if you have mild symptoms of yeast overgrowth. And that means like occasionally you might have a little bit of white stuff in your mouth, or maybe you have dry, flaky skin or eczema or something like that that seems to speak to like a fungus problem. The other reason that I recommend ThreeLac is just for general health, right? Because we all, don't always eat the best diet and we're exposed to toxins and maybe we had to take medications. So I think ThreeLac is a good, just general probiotic for general health. And it is a great one for children because it comes in the packet form. And so you can start with a half a packet or a third a packet or a quarter a packet and see how they tolerate it, right? Because their body weight is less than ours. Okay, so that's ThreeLac, and that was really their flagship product. It comes in the powder in lemon flavor, and it also comes in tablets. It's their only formula that comes in tablets. So their next formula was FiveLac. So it has the original 3 strains, Bacillus coagulans, Bacillus subtilis, and Enterococcus faecalis. Plus, it has Lactobacillus acidophilus and Bifidobacterium longum. Now, these 2 have been studied for more severe issues like SIBO, like small intestinal bowel or bacterial overgrowth, or IBD or IBS. So if you have that diagnosis of IBS, which what does that just mean? It just means you're constipated or you have diarrhea and we don't know why. I recommend the FiveLac over the ThreeLac because it has that Lactobacillus acidophilus in it, which has been studied for IBS and SIBO. So that's the FiveLac. It comes only in packets and only in lemon flavor. Now, if you are somebody with chronic health concerns and challenges, I get it because I've been there and I'm still there, that you want to use SevenLac. So SevenLac means it has 7 strains of bacteria. So it has all the ones that are in the ThreeLac, all the ones that are in the FiveLac, plus it has Lactobacillus rhamnosus and Lactobacillus johnsoni. So rhamnosus has been studied in people with severe diarrhea. And when I say severe diarrhea, I mean like 11 to 13 times per day. And I have lived that. So that is absolutely possible. And you can still keep walking around. But that signals a very disordered and imbalanced microbiome in both the small intestines and the large intestines. And so you really need those strains that can help slow down the diarrhea and help with the other IBS symptoms. And Lactobacillus rhamnosus has been studied for that. And Lactobacillus johnsoni, that has mostly been studied in severe infections like H. pylori, which we know is in the stomach, but can affect the whole digestive tract. And it's also been studied and found helpful in people with autoimmune conditions. Because if you think about it, if you have an autoimmune condition, you can pretty much guess that you have a yeast overgrowth somewhere. And you definitely, if it's not yeast, it's something else. And you need to get that balanced out. You need to get a homeostasis in the microbiome from the mouth down to the anus. So the SevenLac comes only in powder. It comes in lemon flavor, and it's the only one that comes in apple flavor as well. So those are what I recommend their 3 individual products for. So they're all good for various levels of yeast overgrowth. So for just general health or the occasional symptom of yeast overgrowth, stick with ThreeLac. If you've had more symptoms like yeast overgrowth and maybe SIBO, you've been diagnosed with SIBO, or you have mild IBS, or maybe you even have like gas and bloating, I would go for the FiveLac. And then SevenLac is really for severe and chronic issues. So even if it's just an ongoing candida infection, you want to use the SevenLac. But if you have something more serious like an autoimmune condition, I would recommend the SevenLac. So again, what makes this probiotic so different is that it's going to make it through your stomach acid, which a lot of probiotics, cheap ones, they're not going to. And these are selected species for specific problems, and they're all geared towards yeast overgrowth at some level. And then some of them have some additional powers that help out. So here at Healthy Habits Living, we're always here to help you find the best research-backed solutions for your health concerns so that you can be at your best and your optimal health. We're here to help you get healthy so you can stay healthy and be healthy.